Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be another movie review for you guys, and this movie I'm going to be reviewing, I've wanted to see this movie for a while. I didn't exactly know the plot of it, but I was pretty intrigued by it, definitely. I didn't really know too much about it, but, as I said, I was very intrigued by it, and that movie is Black Sea. Now, Black Sea was a movie that took a little while for me to actually finally see it. It came out at the end of January, and I didn't get a chance to see it because it didn't come out in a solar movie till now, so I finally saw it on Solar Movie, and I'm going to ignore my friend right now, because he's annoying me, so I'm gonna hang up right there. So, really want to see this movie, as I said, because, I thought it seemed really interesting, and overall, after watching Black Sea, what did I think of it? Black Sea is a good movie, but it's nothing memorable in my opinion. I enjoyed this movie, definitely. I enjoyed it for the most part, but there are a lot of things that I thought would have been a lot better about the movie. First of all, the plot. Let's talk about the plot of Black Sea, which legitimately sounds very interesting. And was actually the reason why I wanted to see the movie so much, was because the plot sounded very interesting to me. Basically, the plot is we have this guy named Captain Robinson. He is basically this person who he just lost his job. He's going through a divorce, and in order to make good with his employees, he found this, ship, basically. He's a submarine captain. A few days ago, he found this, this ship, basically, and it's a World War II submarine from, Hitler, and apparently it's rumored to be loaded with gold, so he basically takes all his men out to search for this ship, and eventually the men start turning on each other, and that's basically the plot, turning on each other one by one, thinking that they want it more and that they stole it or something like that, and that's basically the plot of Black Sea. Now, that sounds a lot more interesting than it actually is, and I'm going to talk about why it sounds more interesting. Now, I'm going to talk about the good things about this movie, then I'm going to get to the things that doesn't really work about this movie. First of all, the acting. The acting here is actually very, very good. Jude Law, I thought, was very good in the movie, definitely. I really do like Jude Law in movies. I've seen him in quite a few movies, and he is definitely very good in this. I think he did a very good job, definitely. Nothing amazing, really. I wouldn't say it was anything like, oh my god, that was like an amazing performance. I wouldn't say it was like that. But I did really like his performance overall. I think he did a good job, definitely, as this captain. But my problem with his character is that you don't really care about him, and he's not really the most likable guy either. I mean, he is kind of a dick to everyone in the movie. You even see in flashbacks that he's kind of a dick. He gets fired from his job, he's kind of a dick. Like, you can see why these things are happening to him, because he's kind of just a dick, and you don't really care about him, because he simply is just that. He's a dick, and that's really why you don't care about him. Scoot McNairy was also very good in the movie. Ben Mendelsohn. The three main stars gave very good performances. Not really much to say about them, except they really gave good performances. And they really do. But my problem is you don't care about any of their characters. First of all, the two characters are barely developed. Scoot McNairy and Ben Mendelsohn. They don't really have much time to be developed. You don't find out a lot about them. And you don't really care about them either, because they're just kind of boring characters. And they're just sort of generic. At a portion of this movie, I agree with the Schmoes on this. I saw the Schmoes No review this movie. I agree with them that this movie does get boring eventually and does get very generic, definitely. Especially towards, I'd say, the second portion of this movie. The first portion, it's a very good movie. I definitely really enjoyed it. But the second portion, it feels very slow and things like that. And I will say that the acting overall, though, was very good. Now, the directing by Kevin McDonald, I thought he did a very good job directing this. Definitely, he did a very good job. I mean, there are some scenes on this movie that are literally very, very tense, very insane, and he did a very good job directing those scenes, definitely. He really did a great job with his direction, and I don't know what else he's done. I don't know if this is like, I don't know what else he's done, but I definitely want to see more of his movies, because I definitely do like his style. I wouldn't say it's like an amazing style or anything. It's not really an interesting style, but I think he did a pretty average job. Nothing really much to say about his directing, except that he did a good job. Where this movie doesn't work is the screenplay. As I said, first of all, you don't care about any of the characters. That's not my only problem with this movie. My biggest problem with this movie is the screenplay. The screenplay sounds so much more interesting than this movie initially is, and I was waiting for, like, amazing stuff to happen, and really the movie doesn't get going till the third half, I'd say. The first and second act are very, very slow, and the buildup is just so slow to the point where when things start happening, yeah, it's kind of a breath of fresh air from the movie, but it just feels too tacked on there. It just feels like the first and second half are just trying to give you all this character development, and you don't care because the characters are not interesting. And when eventually intense stuff starts to happen, it did get really good, but I just felt like the writing was just not there. It wasn't interesting. It didn't seem like they were trying to make a good story. It just seemed like they were trying to tell a story, and to me, I just didn't feel like the writing was there. It wasn't up to par with the rest of the movie. Definitely the screenplay was very off and really ruined a lot of the movie for me. In fact, I really didn't, the second half of the movie, I really didn't care about this movie anymore. I just watched the movie so I could review it to you guys, and it's kind of was disappointing because I'm like, you know what, I'm really enjoying this. The first half of this movie, I'm like, I'm really enjoying it, but then when they get on the submarine, the movie really slows down, and that's when the movie's supposed to be exciting, and it really slows down there, definitely. When they're on that submarine, it is boring, and it's slow. It really is slow, and that's really my problem with this movie. The cinematography, though, is absolutely breathtaking to this movie. Any scene where they're underwater, that is when the movie is at its finest, is the cinematography. It is beautiful cinematography. Like, you could just look at the cinematography and it would be absolutely fantastic. I think the cinematography is gorgeous to this movie. Any scene where they're underwater is very intense, just because it shows how intense it would be to be doing this, definitely. It's very well done, and I think the cinematography was probably the strongest point of this movie, definitely. If there was anything that kept me interested in this movie, it was cinematography. Just all those scenes were, like, so intense, and I love the cinematography of this movie. The score was good, I guess. Nothing really much to say about the score except that it was good. The editing, I do have to say, was all over the place. Like, this movie is way too long than it needs to be. This movie could have been 90-something minutes minus 100. It did not need to be 115 minutes. It is way too long, definitely. I did not feel it need to be as long as it was, and because it was so long, it really does feel long, I'd have to say. It definitely feels long. It doesn't feel short. It definitely feels like it drags the movie on. The movie does drag on quite a bit, and it gets very boring eventually, and when certain things are happening, as I said, you really just don't care. The end of this movie, I didn't really care. I was like, you know what, whatever, the movie does do a very good job of showing what can happen if this does happen to someone, you know, the difficulties of people turning against each other and things like that. That is really cool. When they start to turn against each other, there's actually a very good twist in there. The last, I would say, 10 minutes of this movie were truly breathtaking, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and I actually got really into the movie. The problem is when the movie starts to really get going, it ends. That's my problem with this movie, is when the movie gets really, really good, it just ends, and it's like, seriously, I was really getting into it, now you're telling me it's over? It was really disappointing, because I was really into the movie after that. I'm like, alright, I'm ready for more to happen, and then it just ended, and I was like, okay. And the ending of the movie, I just didn't really care about, and you know what I would have wanted? I would have wanted, there's one flashback in this movie that I actually really appreciated. I would have wanted more of that in this movie. I want to find out more about these characters. I don't just want 3 guys who are on a ship and start to turn against each other with the gold. That's not really what I want in this movie. I wanted more about it. I want to know more about them, and I really did not get to know more about them. You don't get to know more about them. You don't really get a sense of who their characters are. They don't have much of a character, I have to say. Other than seeking gold, they don't have much of a character here, and it really does drag the movie down. It really makes the movie very boring, and ultimately because of that, I would definitely give Black Sea a 3 out of 5 or a C+. So, that's really all I have to say about Black Sea. I know this was a shorter review than usual. My reviews are usually 12 minutes, but this was really a shorter review because I really don't have much to say about this movie. I didn't have that much fun with it. I didn't really have a good of a time with it like I wanted to. I wanted to enjoy it a lot more than I did, and I really did not enjoy it really that very much at all. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have seen this movie, what did you think of it? I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another movie review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.